This week, we're checking out the top 5 mistakes people make when moving to Redondo Beach, California. What's up, everybody? Shane Inman here, a local real estate agent in Southern California, helping families move here to the South Bay. So all the communities around here in Southern California. So if you are thinking of moving here, be sure to reach out. It's never too early to start your search, and I'd love to help you get started. I have people calling, texting, and emailing all the time about moving here, and I'd love to help you get started in your journey. All right, so the first mistake I see people make when moving to Redondo Beach is canceling out certain styles of homes or locations before actually seeing them. And that's a really big one here because the styles of homes are kind of similar in different areas. So for instance, if you're looking in North Redondo, you might be seeing a lot of townhomes. And if you right from the start are like, no, I'm not going to live in a townhome, and you look at your budget and you're like, okay, I really want to be in Redondo Beach and I need it to be in this price range, and it turns out that the only option is a townhome, then that's something you want to be prepared for. And so you want to try to definitely check that out ahead of time. The other thing to think about is a lot of the townhomes here in Redondo are maybe 2 or 3 on a lot. And so they're detached from another, and it doesn't feel like you're in a big condo complex or something. It feels more like you have a single family residence that's next to a neighbor on the same lot. So just something to think about is not canceling out a certain style of home or a certain location before you even see it in person, because you might look at on the map and say, okay, I don't want to be in North Redondo because it kind of goes closer to the freeways. I don't want to stay away from the freeways. But then you see that there's some neighborhoods that are kind of tucked away from there. So it's good to compare different styles of homes and different locations within your price range and not cancel them out before you actually see them in person. And the next mistake I see people making when moving to Redondo Beach is not taking a look at what has sold recently in their price range to see if what they're really looking for even exists. So obviously the market's changing quickly and prices change. And so you can't, say, oh, well, this home sold for this amount of money, and I would have liked that one. So that's what I really want. But it does give you kind of a gauge of, okay, if I really want this style of home in this location and nothing exists that's sold recently, then I'm either going to have to change my preference, change my budget, or just keep waiting until that needle in the haystack pops up. So just good to kind of look at what's recently sold to know if what has sold recently would have been something you would have purchased. Then you at least know that if something similar comes on the market again, you know what you're looking for. All right, and the third mistake I see people moving to Redondo Beach make is just not starting their search early enough. It could be 6 months, it could be a year. You never know how long it takes, and it's never too early. I don't mind when people reach out and they're like, hey, I'm thinking of buying in 2024. Is this too early to get started? I'm like, no, it's great. We can kind of figure out what style of home you like, what areas you really like, and then obviously it's going to be a different market when you decide to purchase, but kind of gets you an idea of where you stand and if what you're looking for exists. And kind of, as I mentioned before, you can kind of see if looking at previous sales, if what you're looking for exists. And I'd be happy to help you out with that. So if anyone is interested in getting started in their search, email me and I can send you a list of what properties have sold recently to give you an idea of what is for sale in your price range with your criteria. So it gives you an idea to get started. And like I said, it's never too early to get started because it could take you a few months of, you got to get pre-qualified by a lender. I'd be happy to introduce you to a lender. And let's say you get pre-qualified and you're like, you know what, nothing exists in the price range that I'm pre-qualified for. Then, like I said, maybe you change your search criteria, or maybe you change your location, or maybe you wait a little bit longer, save a little bit more for more of a down payment, and maybe you have different credit issues you need to work out. So it's good to get started early and figure out what issues you might be coming up against. And then also when you figure out what you really want, the market could be very competitive, and then you're getting outbid on properties that you really want. So just finding that property that you want isn't a guarantee that you're going to get it either. And the number 4 mistake I see people make when moving to Redondo Beach is a little bit counterintuitive. It's actually not including cities that are out of the area than just looking at only Redondo Beach. So they're like, okay, I only want to live in Redondo Beach. Well, you walk across the street, now you're in Torrance. You walk across the street, now you're in Hermosa or Manhattan, or maybe you go a little bit further and you're in Palos Verdes. So your location in this area could change based on your price range and your search criteria. You may say, I really want to be in Redondo Beach and I really want a lot of land. And you're like, okay, well, that doesn't really have that many options in my price range, but maybe you look at Palos Verdes, or maybe you look at Torrance, or, so maybe there's different areas nearby that, just the style of homes in the geographical area is a little bit more fitting for what you really are looking for. So getting stuck on, oh, I have to be in this one city, isn't something that I think works for a lot of people, because I see people changing their search criteria weekly or monthly, or just as the process goes on, they're like, oh, I really have to be in this town. Then it turns out we're in this town, and then they end up purchasing a home 20 minutes away from there. So you never know what's important in your search and what that really relates to in that area. So it's good to keep an open mind to all the cities in this neighborhood. And the number 5 mistake I see people make when moving to Redondo Beach is just being afraid of fixers. You don't necessarily know, obviously you want it to be move-in ready, and you don't want to have issues over time that are going to be costly. But, if it's cosmetic, you want to look at things and see, okay, the location is exactly where I want, and maybe I can get it for a little bit lower price because there's less competition, because it's not, maybe it needs carpet taken out, or maybe it needs new paint, just little things that aren't going to be super expensive, but you kind of have to look beyond just the aesthetics of what it looks like now. Like I said, obviously you don't want to be getting into something that has foundation issues or something that's going to be very costly in the long terms, like pipes and different things. But if it's just cosmetic issues, and it's in a great location, that's what they say with real estate. It's location, location, location. So if you can find a great location and the home has the potential for something great down the road, then that might be a better fit than competing with a lot of other people for that home that's newly updated and look glamorous but is a higher value. So with that, I hope that helped. And if you are interested in moving to Redondo Beach, feel free to call or text or email me, and I'd love to help you get started in your search.